Welcome to the channel, Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia, on the road in the U. When you are trying to identify what the possible problems are within your relationship relative to negligences in behaviour, you have to understand that there's different ways in which people deal with relationships, and it's got to do with their past, where they've placed themselves, what they've put themselves, situations they've put themselves into. Also, a lot of it can have to do with their physical attributes relative to how attractive they are or were, and how much influence that had over the opposite sex. And how that shaped their way in which they deal with the opposite sex. A lot of people think their physical attributes will hold influence over the people that they meet, their charisma, sexual performance, and these, how they cook and all these natural things, but they use them as a means of influence to get people in. And then they'll begin to try and condition you to what they want relative to how they think a relationship should work. And you've got to be careful, because what these people are, they're cake, I call them cake and eat it too people. They want their cake and eat it too. Now, when they're trying to condition you, if it looks like you're a person that has your act together and you know what boundaries are and you have standards and you really do apply yourself to a relationship, because that's, I thought that was the object. Maybe I'm wrong, but anyway, I don't think I'm wrong. What they'll do is, if they can't condition you on their own, they'll try and triangulate you. They'll use other people. And this can be family members, it can be friends. They'll use friends as a means of making you push back, or they'll just be negligent themselves. They'll just out and out wing it. And if you stay, you stay, and if you go, you go. The problem that with triangulation is, once a triangulation situation starts, they're usually pretty hard to undo. And they usually do cost the person the relationship. And to be honest, the only person that they've got to blame is themselves, because a relationship's about privacy. It's not about every Tom, Dick and Harry having his nose or her nose in your business. And that's how infantile these people are. They're not unconscious of what they're doing. They're trying to push you back. They want you for a convenience, or they want you as a means of escape from where they live. A lot of these people are unhappy with where they live. They're supporting people. They're being leeched on. They're going to work and they can't get ahead because they're supporting every Tom, Dick and Harry that can get their mitts into them. They suffer from chronic illnesses and mental health issues because they never sought to get order in their life. You see, when we try and use our physical attributes or charisma to get our way through life, that has a place, but it's not it shouldn't be the foundation of how you live. A lot of these people are sarcastic. They think they're smart. They're antagonistic. They suffer from unresolved resentments, bitternesses, and rejection. A lot of these people have been rejected from relationships because of their lack of correcting their character flaws. They haven't listened. The intrusive parts of their life, they've allowed to intrude into the relationship, and people won't tolerate it. They won't tolerate children sticking their nose in and that where they don't belong, or mothers or fathers or sisters or brothers. I've been with girls where their sisters have wanted to have sex with me behind my girlfriend's back. I've never done it, but just blatantly like wanting to have sex with you behind their sister's back. This is how evil these people can be. This is how self-centered, how at the mercy of their lust these people are. And you're trying to navigate your life and trying to find a way of just having a normal, sensible life. But at the age of 57, it's just not manifesting for me. And I'm not stupid. I know, how to be a decent man. But it's incredible when you meet people and then you watch them start to disintegrate or condition you, and the tactics they have. It doesn't matter how understanding you are, how you relate, how you communicate, the distance that you give, you are never going to get a solid relationship with this type of degenerative person. They can't hold. These people will normally single someone out and force a marriage on them, only to regret it not long after, wishing that they hadn't have forced anything on anyone. They end up marrying the wrong people. They end up in narcissistic, abusive relationships for years and years. And they don't recover. They don't heal. Because if you put yourself into these situations, I've heard their stories. Oh, I did everything for the wedding. After we got married, he did this and she did that. And, oh no, and you're just standing there and you go, when I was a minister, I can't marry people. I just decided I can't marry people. In the end, I got tired of burying people. I just went, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. You marry people to watch them go and get divorced 12 months later. You're telling people to get off the drugs and alcohol and stuff. The next thing you're burying them left, right and centre. People don't want to face the consequences of their actions, and some people die. They just die. And that's it. That's all there is to it. They suffer from mental illnesses, chronic mind problems, headaches and deep migraines and stuff. I've had trauma from narcissistic abuse. And narcissistic abuse can get you from another person through the person that you're with. They just keep hounding at your situation. I can't stand those ones. You just got to remove yourself. And everyone loses. And I can't tell you, I've had a few girlfriends now that sit there and go, well, I wrecked that. Good relationship, I've wrecked it. And then they just sit where they are and move on. Try and move on. The last 5 I've had have not moved on. They've all shut shop. The latest one, I don't know what she'll do. She was a disaster, that woman. The way she managed her children and their interference. Just a complete disaster. Unnecessary disaster. These people don't realise that the relationship's about 2 people. It is not about every other Tom, Dick and Harry. But they're so enmeshed. This is what you've got to understand. You've got to look before you go in. They're so enmeshed. It'll look good on the surface at the start, and then the enmeshment comes out, and they hate you. They've got to get rid of you. The mother's trying to keep you. She got no chance. No chance. She'll give in to them in the end. And if you don't conform, well, they're right, aren't they? If you don't conform, he was a bastard. We told you this had happened. And they're the cause of the trouble. But these ignorant, stupid women, they give their lives to their authority and their thinking to their children. They let them involved in their relationships, and oh God, it's disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. And it's terrifying to think that, it's all covert. They disguise it brilliantly. That's why a lot of these women will come out to see you. I know that's the preferred way of doing it, but it's not. It keeps you 50% blinded from your own relationship. What's the point of that? If you can't see your partner, whenever, what's the point of having it? I'll never get involved with one of them again. I reckon it's narcissistic. It's covert narcissism because it's degenerative. Everything's going backwards. And when the relationship on this last one, we really tried to go forward, it just wrecked it anyway. I was never going to be able to get on with her adult family members. I was never going to, and I wasn't going to be subject to that. My family was concerned, like, what's wrong with these people? What's the big deal here? You're being misrepresented. You need to get out. You invest yourself into people and you want to follow through with that investment. But sometimes that's not possible. Sometimes you just got to, like I did, go, look, sorry, the solutions that you have don't work. They're not fair. The problem, all the problems were on her side. All of them. And yet I was the problem. And I just said, get your shit and F off. They wear you out. No matter how much you love them and all this, they wear you out. They've got no concept of what they're doing inside your mind. You can tell them, you can get right down to the dot the T's, cross the T's, dot the I's, tell them over and over again, and they just sit like a lizard on a rock until everything's wrecked. And then they just go back and hide under the rock when everything's wrecked. It's bloody crazy. And all that time wasted, broken hearts, sore minds, sickness, illness, and they just go on. You've really got to wisen up to what's happening to you. A proper committed person, it's a clear pathway. Everyone's happy, everyone's supporting each other. There's no question about who's going in what direction or where or why and what's going to happen next or where are you. There's clear communication. Once all the communication and that starts dropping off, you've had it. 1 minute you know what's going on with their life and where they're up to and everything, and then you don't know nothing. Well, that means they're not talking to you, they're talking to someone else. You've got to be, really switched on, because these sort of sexually transactional, intimate transactional relationships, they just don't do anything. You're just letting someone take a part of you, they're giving you part of them, and then what? Then what? Honestly. Then what? Nothing. Nothing. It's horrible. Horrible. It's like you're entertaining a child in an adult body. Does that echo narcissism? I think so. And you're just not gonna, you get no resolve, no communication. I started to mirror. I thought, I got no answer for this. And something inside me, it must have been the Holy Ghost, said, mirror what she's doing back to her. And I didn't understand what that meant. And then when I started to do it, I've gone, oh my God, there's no texting, there's no communication at all. This person's just turning up at the appointed time and then going again. Oh, come on. Come on. No. And it's deliberate. It's not accidental. This is what you people have got to understand. This is all deliberate. Pleading ignorance isn't enough. It's deliberate. Oh. be careful. Keep your eyes open. There's a lot of information coming out now where, and I've met a few of these women where they've spent 10, 20, even 30 years with men that were just using them. They ended up with nothing at the end of all of it. Nothing. In fact, the last girl I was with, whoever he was, I heard a little bit about this bloke. He was not the greatest example, but none of my business or problem. Left her with nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. After 20 years, they had nothing to show for themselves. I can't comprehend that. I cannot comprehend that for the life of me. I just can't comprehend it. And there's women that are like this as well, that just leave everyone rack and ruined with nothing, and they take what they can. Oh, it's more evil than people want to acknowledge out there. And then they regret losing you. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, whatever later, you get an email, you know, rah, 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 and you're sitting there and you're going, oh no. It's so dysfunctional and so reckless. I don't know what to say. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. Thank you for joining me.